While Donald Trump could face a possible indictment for his role in alleged hush money payments to an adult film star, the former president made his first 2024 campaign trip to Iowa yesterday. He focused less on policy and more on taking down his potential rivals, such as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. CBS News political director Finn Gomez was the only network journalist who traveled with Trump yesterday. He is now in West Palm Beach, Florida. Finn, you spoke with the former president yesterday. What did he say? What did he say? I have to tell you.
Hi, good morning, Nikki and Anne Marie. Yes, there was a group of press that traveled with the former president as he made his campaign stop from his campaign trip from West Palm Beach to Davenport, Iowa. On that plane, he spoke to us in a gaggle where he spoke on a variety of different topics. He touched upon foreign policy. He talked about the investigations we asked him about the investigations that were happening in New York, and we asked him whether he would testify. He deflected on those questions, but I think the biggest news, Nikki, was that when we asked him about former Vice President Mike Pence's remarks during the gridiron on Saturday, that the former president's comments surrounding January 6th had endangered his family and the people on the Capitol that day, and that history would hold them accountable. He said that he had heard that statement. And he said that he figured that the former vice president, his former vice president, was no longer, quote, being nice because he is polling at 3% in the polls. But he also said that had Mike Pence sent the votes back to the legislators, they wouldn't have had the problem with January 6th. So in many ways, you can blame him, Pence, for January 6th, which of course is not accurate. That has been reviewed, that has been vetted, and that is something that would not have been constitutionally viable according to constitutional experts. But he also really went after Ron DeSantis, his likely GOP contender, and the potential presidential candidate who's looking to enter the race possibly later this spring, and is also the one closest, Nikki, to his in the polling to Donald Trump. Even though Donald Trump does have a sizable lead in most polls, he went after him on a variety of issues. He specifically said that that Ron DeSantis would not have been governor if it weren't for his endorsement in 2018, and he said that he would have been either working at a law firm or at a Pizza Hut. And it's just one criticism, one attack, if you will, against the current Florida governor. He also went after him on Social Security during his speech in Iowa. He said that he was very, very bad on ethanol. Of course, that's a very big issue there among Iowa's caucus goers. And interestingly enough, Nikki, when I spoke to some of these Iowa caucus goers following his speech, and it was a very loud, very exuberant, and enthusiastic crowd of pro-Trump supporters. When I spoke to them, the majority, maybe 5 to 10 of them, the majority of them said that they would actually be, their second choice was Ron DeSantis. And that's a very important place to be in the caucus process. But again, this seems to be, and the way that the former president was speaking about Ron DeSantis, it seems that we really have entered this new stage within the Republican presidential primary race. And in this upcoming head-on collision between these two will likely be a major narrative in the coming months.
Yeah, I think
Nikki?
so. We should remind everyone that Ron DeSantis hasn't actually thrown his hat into the ring yet, and the former president, sort of joked that, yeah, he's not very good on ethanol, but if he decides that he doesn't want to run, I might say something different later on. That's like a standard Trump dad joke. So, Finn, thank you very much.
Thank you.